Hey guys, this is Frankie, Simply Imaginary People, and I just want to show you a quick tutorial of pretty much how to solidify edges by saving poly count and not having stretched textures. So there's two general ways that people solidify their edges. They either use the Solidify modifier and then fill rim, but most of the time you can see that these edges are like super stretched, the texture. Or there's the way that people extrude their edges into the middle, like, let me figure this out, which bit's which. So, let me just get rid of the body so you can actually see. They extrude it, oops, like so. And then they make this its own part. So I don't like either of these methods because the first one stretches the texture, and if I just do it like this, then if I put the body back, you'll see I've got like different thicknesses and stuff. I just don't like it. So undo this. Easiest method, and it also saves poly count, is to again select the edges you want. Then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press E on my keyboard to extrude, and I'm going to scale and give it an edge about the thickness I want it to be. So you'll see the first thing you see is the stretching texture. So while I still have this edge selected, I'm going to go to my 2D here. I'm going to press G and I'm going to press Y, and I'm just going to move this down, and you'll see on the left hand side how the texture is no longer as stretched. So I'm just going to move it down about the thickness that that edge is. Right, now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to press E again to extrude them. I'm going to scale and make this pretty small, and then I'm going to move it down. So you'll see if I then add the UV body, my top has an edge and then it goes down. So now that I've done that, I'm going to again press G here and Y, and I'm going to move this down to the bottom of the texture, maybe move this up a bit, and you'll see that I now no longer have such a stretched texture as well. So I pretty much saved the texture edge. And I've used this texture in the space I already have. So you can do this with old clothes without having to give it new texture, because let me just show you actual image. I don't have it, that's very useful. Does it work? No, it doesn't. Yeah, so I'm pretty much using the area that I have already textured, so it's perfectly fine. Anyway, you can do this everywhere. Oops. So, but they've got to do two extra steps. The first is select this inner edge, this one at the top, and edge split it. So press spacebar, write an edge split and do that. And you're also going to have to edge split this outer edge. Now this won't select if you press Alt. This one I selected by holding Alt and clicking, and you'll see it selects the edge. This one I'm just going to select by selecting the bits I started off with and extruded, and I'm also going to edge split this so that I don't get weird shadows. Right, now I can pretty much do the same thing at the bottom. So I select the bottom of my top, and I press E, and then I press S to scale it, and I make about how thick I want my top. And then here again I'm going to go G and then press Y and move this up just a bit so that the texture isn't so stretched. Then I'm going to press E again, scale it a bit smaller, find my body and move it up. And again I'll just get rid of the body again. You can see this texture is super duper stretched, so I'm just going to press G and Y and move it up. And if it's a bit too wide like this, then I'll just Alt shift that side and scale it in a bit. That doesn't really matter because we're not going to see this bit so much. And press S to scale it just a little bit so it stays in the bounds of my texture. And there you have it, a Of course, I've got to do the same thing. Alt and click this edge and Alt and click this edge. Edge split that by pressing spacebar again, and then again the very bottom. This prevents those horrible black shadows. Right, this also means I don't need to delete verts I don't want, and I have less verts. It's just a very simple way of doing it. I can do the same on the sleeve, so let's select the bottom of this sleeve, the bottom row. Now this sleeve, if you look at it, kind of already attaches to the body, so here I don't really need an edge because you won't be able to see the edge. So here I'm just going to press E, scale, get the UV body back, press 1 on my keyboard so I'm facing front, and then I'm just going to move it up diagonally towards the arm a bit. Again, unhide my body. You can see the stretched texture. I'm just going to press G and Y again, and move it up till the text is not so stretched. I can move it sideways a bit so it again stays within the bounds of my texture. And there you have it. Now obviously I can do the other sleeve, but this is just pretty much the easiest, quickest way to get nice edges and not increase your polygon like crazy.